Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
Greater Grace Temple is hosting its 24th annual Back to School Festival with an interesting addition to the agenda. We'll explain next. Plus, heating up, the hot and humid streak continues with our heat indices going into the mid-90s, as you can see in this model. It is steamy out there. Brandon also tracking the potential for some severe weather this afternoon. But we do begin with breaking news from Capitol Hill, where the Senate just passed a $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure package. And that does top our news this noon. Thank you for joining us. After months of furious negotiations, a bipartisan group of senators and the Biden administration have reached an agreement. The package, called the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, includes $550 billion in new federal investments in America's infrastructure over a 5-year period. Here are some key components of that package. The measure invests $110 million in funding toward roads, bridges, and major projects, $65 billion to rebuild the electric grid, $55 billion for water infrastructure, $15 billion of which will be directed towards replacing lead pipes. Not long ago, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer spoke about the bill.
It's been a long and winding road, but we have persisted, and now we have arrived. There were many logs in our path, detours along the way, but the American people will now see the most robust injection of funds into infrastructure in decades.
The bill will now go to the House of Representatives. The House likely will not take up the bill until the fall, as the chamber is currently out for August recess. Also breaking, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is addressing the public for the first time since the state attorney general came out with a damaging report that said that the 3-term Democrat sexually harassed 11 women and created a climate of fear at his office. He had previously released a recorded video statement. Right now, he is apologizing for, quote, offending the 11 women. We will keep you posted as we learn more. And it's time now to turn our attention to the weather as we take a live look outside of our sky cam from Windsor, showing some cloud cover up above. But Brandon, it's not keeping it from being pretty steamy out there.
It's warm. Yeah, the humidity you can just feel instantly. And as much as we'd love the sun, it's a catch-22 because, you know, it will fuel the atmosphere and create better storm potential. Unfortunately, we've got more sun coming our way. 83 now in Detroit, 81 in Ann Arbor, 78 Howell, 76 Lapeer. But you factor in that humidity, and we're bumping the number up about 5 degrees, almost 90 for it feels like here at noon over at City Airport. So we get to 88. Feeling more like 95, 96 degrees, and that's tough on the body. Make sure you are drinking lots of fluids, finding shade, and checking on your loved ones. But more importantly, the storm threat this afternoon. Storm Prediction Center has us in a slight risk, so we will be watching afternoon storms. As you can see, a little bit of clearing from our west. That will heat things up as we get more sun and a weak cool front. So, Rhonda, the ingredients are there for anybody heading out. You need to dodge these showers and storms, so your greatest weapon and tool, as always, the greatest weather app in the world. It's your local forecasters app, interactive radar, details on any warnings that come up, discussions about our forecast, because we are not done with severe threats. Rhonda, I've got more coming up.
All right, Brandon, thank you. Turning our attention now this noon to the coronavirus. Thousands of children are heading back to school this week, and the debate over vaccines and mask mandates is escalating. Many parents are worrying that their kids may not be safe in the classrooms without a mask, and health officials agree. Carrie Sanders has this report from Naples, Florida, a state where the governor just announced that the state Board of Education could withhold pay from school leaders who implement any mask mandates for kids there.
Well, today is the first day of school in many parts of the country, including here in Naples, Florida. About 47,000 kids in this school district. This state, Florida, like 6 other states, does not have a mask mandate. There is some battling back and forth, but this morning here in Collier County, kids will come, and if they wear a mask, it's their choice. If they don't wear a mask, it's their choice. And of course, their parents are heavily involved in all of that.
We want our students to feel safe. We want our families to feel like they're sending their kids to a safe environment.
The CDC is urging people to wear masks in high transmission areas like schools because they believe that that does reduce the impact of the spread of coronavirus. And with about half of all kids in the country between the ages of 12 and 18 who are vaccinated, they say that right now it is kids who are in the crosshairs of this growing crisis. Kerry Sanders, NBC News, Naples, Florida.
All right, Kerry, thank you. New cases of COVID-19 in children are continuing to increase. According to the latest data from the American Academy of Pediatrics and the Children's Hospital Association, almost 94,000 new pediatric cases were reported just last week. And the experts say that this is, quote, continuing substantial increase. Nearly 72,000 new cases were reported the previous week. The report also shows that children represented 15% of the new weekly cases. And we are expecting our next coronavirus update from the state tomorrow. As we wait, here's a look at the case numbers that were released on Monday. 2,720 new cases were reported, and that's a 3-day average, but averaging out to be about 906 new cases per day. Also, 8 more lives lost due to the coronavirus. Right now, 63.9% of Michigan residents 16 years of age and older have received at least 1 dose of the coronavirus vaccine. Greater Grace Temple is hosting its 24th annual Back to School Festival. They have food, carnival activities, a backpack giveaway, and also this year, COVID vaccines are available. Larry Spruill joins us now live in Detroit with a closer look at what organizers hope to accomplish by making the vaccines easily accessible at an event like this. Good afternoon, Larry.
Good afternoon, Rhonda. Yes, vaccines are here for those who need it and want it, but this is also a different type of back-to-school event. We are giving away supplies like folders and crayons, but also masks and gloves. People check a look right over there. They will check into the line right over there to sign into this event and then turn around and go to the festival. That's where they will pick up their supplies. But let's take a look at some fresh video just into our newsroom. People were waiting in line for this back-to-school event early this morning. Grandparents and parents brought their family members out here to have fun, but to also take advantage of the necessary items to stay safe this school year. Greater Grace Temple has been doing this event for 24 years, but Bishop Charles Ellis III says this year's event is different because this school year will be different. Take a listen.
I think they have to do whatever they can to keep these kids safe. You know, to me, 1 death is too many. 1 kid losing their future with health challenges is too many. So I think I'm all for the boards that are saying they don't have to be masked. Well, it's inconvenient. Sometimes life is about inconvenience.
And so if you want to get your vaccine or even some school supplies, you still have time. This event will last until 2 o'clock today. But also, I talked to a lot of parents about this upcoming school year. Should the students wear masks or not? I'm working on that part of the story on New tonight at 5. We are live at Greater Grace Temple this afternoon. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
New at noon.
So great to see our community leaders stepping forward and providing events like that. Today, the Michigan Task Force on Forensic Science held a meeting about wrongful convictions in the state of Michigan due to flawed forensic science. Officials say 136 people in Michigan have been wrongfully convicted, 136 people, with about 20% of the cases involving misapplied forensic evidence. The issue has prompted Governor Gretchen Whitmer to create a task force to strengthen forensic disciplines. Officials shared ways that the state can avoid wrongful convictions in the future.
And whether it's ultimately a commission, but a body in the state of Michigan that educates lawyers and judges and criminal justice stakeholders about scientific practices and good science and what's not good science.
The state task force says if they want the state to address these convictions, as hundreds of people remain locked up for crimes that they did not do. Still to come, just weeks after that deadly condominium collapse in Surfside, Florida, a Miami building is evacuated due to structural concerns. And we continue to follow what's happening in New York right now. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has resigned. It is effective in 14 days. He just addressed the public for the first time since the state attorney general came out with a damaging report that said the three-term Democrat sexually harassed 11 women and created a climate of fear at his office. He has apologized for, quote, offending the 11 women.